Hey everyone. Before we get started today, I just wanted to say I noticed a handful of views trickling in on my first few videos. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. Making these videos is really the highlight of my work week. So being able to share these stories with you and seeing people actually want to watch means the world to me. So with that, let's get into today's story. So today's story goes back to my freshman year of high school. And this was one of many fights that I had to witness when I was both in middle school and in high school. So in my high school, at the beginning of the day, when you first got into the building, all the students had to wait outside the main doors in the cafeteria, main hall kind of visitor area. And then the doors separated the main school part of the building. So every morning I would get to school and I would just be hanging out. Maybe I'd bump into a few of my friends depending on how early I got there, but we would stand just chilling by the doors waiting for them to open them at 8 a.m. or whatever time we started. And right before this happened, there would be just a flood of people just waiting to get in. So it was a little bit chaotic. I'm not sure that was the best way for them to set that up. And I don't know if that's changed since I've been there. But on that particular morning, I had gotten there, a little bit later than normal. And the doors were kind of getting ready to open. It was a few minutes before 8 a.m. So I'm just standing there in the big crowd by myself waiting for the doors to open to go into school. And all of a sudden I get shoved from my left. And I'm like, what the heck? And I didn't say anything out loud, but I just looked and there's these two other freshmen, I'm guessing. They were pretty young looking, just like grabbing on each other and just yanking each other around. Like they're fighting is the point here. Just classic high school fight, as you can imagine. And as soon as that happens and I feel them bump me, I'm guessing they bumped a lot of people just because it was so crowded. As soon as they start fighting, the whole crowd just disperses around them. It was like, I don't know if you've seen those nature videos with like schools of fish and there's some predator fish that comes out and tries to attack them. The fish just swarm all around. Like that's kind of what it looked like with this crowd at the beginning of school. But these two kids are going at each other, and in an instant there's a huge circle around them that people cleared. And if this were me a little bit younger, maybe in like 7th or 8th grade, I would have been like, oh my gosh, what's happening right now? This is crazy. My school is crazy. But at this point in my school career, I was just like, well, another day of this, just a regular day here. I don't even want to say that I've witnessed a ton of fights, but I don't know. I've witnessed probably a fair few, but I've not been in many, thankfully. Although a handful. Those will probably be a story for a different time. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments. But anyways, back to the fight. These two kids were going at each other for what felt like a pretty long time for school fights, because normally if there's a bunch of people around and a bunch of teachers around, which there were, they usually don't last hardly a few seconds, like definitely less than a minute. But these two kids were going at each other for like, I want to say maybe up to a minute. I might be off on that, but it was a long time before any teachers came in. But eventually a teacher did come in, followed by another one shortly after, and pulled them away from each other and basically had to drag them to the main office, which was kind of funny. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. And as soon as that happened, they were just like, all right, everyone, you can go in now. Nothing to see here. Funny stuff. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all next week for another video.